This episode of Nintendo Expansion Pass is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Pop Like and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Expansion Pass here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host and Let's Excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig. Hello, good sir.
Hey Ed, it's time for another one of them cool expansion passes that we do once in a while. We're kind of jamming them all in before PAX, it feels like.
That is true. The countdown.
I just want to give everybody a significant time off, I know people need it, and to give people time off, we have to work extra hard the few weeks beforehand. So Here we are.
Yes.
Probably mid-April by now, but who knows? Who's to say?
Yes.
This is Expansion Pass 99, by the way, Ed.
Really?
Yeah. Of the new, I would say the since we rebooted Expansion Pass, this is episode 99.
So one more will make our 100th episode.
Very good, Ed. That's great math.
Yes. No, the reason why I say is because I don't know, is that going to be like a special discussion on episode 100?
We should probably do something for episode 100, right? I mean, that seems logical. Maybe I was gonna say maybe we'll do one at PAX, an in-person one. We got to do a lot of Nintendo stuff at PAX, Ed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know we got to do Boss Rush stuff also, but we need to do some special stuff at PAX for POW Block and stuff. So, by the way, side tangent, might already be up on the YouTube channel, but so I made an appointment with Atari, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's the 25th anniversary of Roller Coaster Tycoon. And so I talked with their PR person today, and they're going to give me a few extra minutes at my appointment to talk with someone who currently works on Roller Coaster Tycoon as a series. And I'm going to directly ask them, when is Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic coming to modern consoles? Enough of this Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 stuff. I need Classic. I'm just saying. Throw it on Switch. I'll play it. Okay? Dude, if they put Roller Coaster Tycoon on Switch, you'd lose me forever. I'm sorry. You would. I played Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures, the worst possible version of Roller Coaster Tycoon on the worst possible platform, and I still played 100 hours of it. Okay.
I would take Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic on Xbox and straight do mouse and keyboard. And yeah, I could do it on my PC, but I'm just like, I kind of want it on my big screen and everything. And just be like, because I think I would love to stream that game, just to show my designs and everything. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I would definitely stream on Xbox because I want to show my designs. And since it allows keyboard and mouse, I'm like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Goodness, that game is just Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 is my game. I love 1, 2 is good. But I think, like I said, I love 3 because of the unlimited financing and things I could do with just the box.
You don't like to play the game. You just want to build the roller coasters.
Yeah, for 3, yes. But you know what? I think, because I think I I would have to relearn some things about 1 and 3 campaign and stuff. But I have always been about designing my own roller coasters ever since I was a kid. Because, me and you are different when it comes to amusement park. You're straight Disney. I'm Six Flags. So, and not no disrespect to Disney, but Disney is a theme attraction. So it's not about much a lot about the roller coasters. It's about the experience there.
Mhm.
Going through their IPs or franchises and stuff, and food and everything. It's a really family experience, and they cater to mostly kids, and it's a magical feeling. Where Six Flags is like about the thrill. It's about the roller coaster design. It's about the science of gravity with the roller coasters. Like, how do they do this? How this curve got this angle? And it's all about that. So I think that's what I like about Six Flags. Definitely being an area that's where I grew up. Uh, and riding those roller coasters and having that fun, um, taking that experience to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I'm more about designing the coasters where you are about designing the park. And I think it's because of Disney and how they designed their park.
I mean, sure, but also I just like playing the game. I like the business parts of it.
Mhm.
I think it's challenging and fun, and it teaches you a lot, I think, and I like playing the business parts of that game. I know that's weird, but I think
No.
it's uh you know, I think it's fun.
And I think that applies to us personally. I think it's because of we're both creatives, but we're creatives in different ways. Where, like, since you love the business and you love to create and do behind the scenes stuff, um, designing the park fills up your wheelhouse. And for me, my creative space, hosting, getting topics, and you know, just seeing what I could create and make stuff feel original and everything. I think that's why I like the creative part of Roller Coaster Tycoon, especially with 3. It's because of making those curves and trying out the hills and the gravity, and just like making these cool designs and not worrying about who's going to come and ride my ride, and if they're going to get sick or not. Like, that part is not important to me, where it is important to you and everything.
Mhm.
So um yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Roller Coaster
yeah.
Tycoon 3. uh, if you guys want to hear more about our discussion on that game, check out Optional Opinion, where me and Corey talk about it. You can find it on Apple Podcast, SoundCloud. Just look it up, and you definitely will hear our discussion about that series. Uh, Such a fun discussion. I love that discussion, man. But Corey, you actually had a topic for the show.
Yeah, I did, Ed. And I told you I would kind of forget by the time we started recording. And let me go back to it. Oh yeah, okay. I remember. So this has to do with our so we had a recent spotlight with the good people over at WayForward. And one of the topics that came up, not in a real serious way, so don't take this as any kind of confirmation from them or us or anything, but the fun thing that we kind of did with them was pitch them perfect type of games, and that would fit the way forward mode, right? Like mold. I said way forward should definitely remake classic Mega Man games or put their own spin on the old Mega Man games, which I think would be more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
um and The other one was an X-Men brawler. Either, remake the Konami one or make one based off X-Men 97 or combine the both of them, something. And
Remake the
Pat
Sega
actually,
Genesis one.
yeah. No, I don't want to reset my console just to play the game.
Oh,
Um
shade.
I and Pat brought up Castle of Illusion, the Mickey Mouse game.
Hmm.
And they were talking about Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and we got into DuckTales and all these other things that they would be totally amazing at, right? Which, by the way, their Contra game is pretty good. So, and I'm not just saying that because we interviewed them. I'm actually really enjoying it. Uh, thank you again, WayForward, for putting a dash in the game. It changes
Yes.
everything. The
Yes.
double jump, delightful.
Yes.
Delightful. And banking a weapon, like being able to have a second weapon that you can switch to.
Well, that's from Contra 3, so they kept that.
I know, but still, like it helps, especially
Exactly.
because Operation Galuga is the kind of a reimagining of that first game, right? So
Hmm.
that's what I'm comparing it to. Uh, so my thought, Ed, would be, uh, let's. I'm gonna name some studios out there, and I want you to give me, 2 or 3 games that you think they would be great at making, okay?
Okay.
These studios range from large to small,
Hmm.
okay? Um, and so hold on, I have a list. Let me find the list here real quick. Sorry, everybody. I'm very ill prepared for my topic. Um, uh, okay, so here's my list, Ed. Okay, so we have. I want you to tell me one or like 2 or 3 franchises that exist already, but apply them to this studio's style. Okay, and
Okay.
I want your thoughts on WayForward as well, but we're gonna do these other studios first. Okay, so
Okay.
Studio MDHR, the Cuphead developers.
Cuphead. Okay. So I think a game like them, um, because of their artwork and style, I think the Ice Climbers from Nintendo. I could
Oh, that would be
definitely
interesting.
I could definitely see a two-player beat 'em up or vertical puzzle game with their style. Or taking those characters and make something new and different and stuff. Um, so Ice Climbers would definitely be one. Uh, Number two, I probably would go with there was a there was an airplane game where actually no, sorry, Fantasy Zone. From Sega. Uh that would that their current their Cuphead art style would fit Fantasy Zone perfectly. I would love to see that because it is zany in its colors and how you play that game, and it's a shoot 'em up, and they're good. Their shoot 'em up levels in Cuphead is really good, challenging but really good. So that would be two. Uh, my there was like this flying game where you flew from right to left on NES. Sky something, I cannot think of it. I'm about to go back and look it up. But I think for their third game, I probably would go with I probably would go with the first Kirby game to
Hmm.
see that was on Game Boy. See them remake that and give it a give it a new look. But add some good color and make that mug pop. So those would be my three games. My three games for them.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right, Ed. I think this one might be a layup, but I want to hear your answers anyway.
Okay.
Acid Nerve, which did Death's Door.
S and Nerf with them doing Death Store. Um, uh, I think I would probably say Ease won the Ease game. Um, and for everybody who want to know, that's why apostrophe S is called Ease. I used to call
Hmm.
it YS because I didn't see the apostrophe,
Yeah, I
and
used to
that
call it Wise because I didn't know.
yeah, and that was on the NEC Turbo Graphics.
Yeah,
Um,
well, Ys Origins is on Switch now. So I mean, Origins. It's weird because it's Origins 8, 9, and 10.
mm,
Although I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like the arc that 8, 9, and 10 are a part of
yeah,
also includes 7, which is not on the Switch,
so
is what
weird.
I heard. And so, like, I've been wanting to play it. I've been wanting to play Ys for so long. And I'm like, oh, well, this saga starts with 7. I'll go ahead and play that. And 8, 9, and 10 are on Switch, and 7 is not. And I don't want to start, Ed, in the middle of a saga. Who does
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
You know?
Um, Number two is another TurboGrafx game called Dungeon Explorer. It's like 8 dungeons, top down. I remember my mom getting me this game. It was like only $20. She got it for me on a Saturday, and I was finished with it Sunday morning before I went to church. Um, so that would be my second game. My third one from them uh would probably, oh man, I think my third one from them, if Working Design had let them do it, I think a remake of Alondra would definitely be one.
Hmm.
Because Alondra has that same feeling of Death's Door in a sense. Even though Death's Door is on a diag and Alondra is on like a top down view, their games feel like earlier Working Design games. So those would be my three. Ease, uh Dungeon Explorer, and Alondra.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now, this next one might also be a layup, but I'm also interested to hear what you have to say because they've done some pretty interesting games, and they're all pretty different. Heart Machine. So they did Hyperlight Drifter, they did Solar Ash, and now they're doing Hyperlight Breaker, which is like a 3D action ish
Mhm.
game. Uh, so yeah, tell me.
Um, Goodness. Okay, so
I have an idea that might be great for them.
um, hmm. With them, goodness, I probably would have them do Back to the Future
What?
from the NES or LGN. Um, but literally change it where it is a top-down exploring game. From them. Uh, because I know the LGN version is kind of a mess and stuff, but I kind of would love to see them do like an exploration adventure from. Um, Another one would be Space Harrier for the Sega Master System, a remake of that. Because of Solar Ash with the quick movement in her with that. Um, and then third, I probably what would be their third game? Um, Goodness, their third. What is that? There was a Capcom game that wasn't Strider, but it was like Raijin or something. where this man had this sword. It was a 2D kind of game.
Strider?
No, it was a different one.
Hmm.
Uh,
I don't know. Strider, you had a sword, sort of.
right, but Strider has been uh,
You're killing my flow here, Ed.
huh?
You're killing my flow here.
Well, what would be yours?
For what?
You said you had an idea for them.
Oh, I thought Kid Icarus would be interesting. I thought they could do like a really interesting take on Kid Icarus, like based on the art style and the way those games play and how kind of kinetic they are in a weird way, and like some of the verticality in Solar Ash and uh, the way the environments are built in Hyperlight Drifter. I think
Mm-hmm.
Kid Icarus would be cool. I mean, it'd be really different from what's been done before in a way, but it'd still be pretty cool, in my opinion. That's my opinion, Edward. So, um, all right, Ed, another one here. Super Giant Games, the studio behind Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and of course, Hades.
Uh, uh, Marble Madness on NES.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
Uh, I would. Alien Syndrome that was on from Sega. I think will be a good one. Just like, and you could treat it as, because a lot of Alien Syndrome was a lot of rogue elements to that game, and it was kind of mixed with a lot of uh, level designs in that game, and definitely having the same players with that. Uh, Last but not least, I'm getting in trouble for this one. Ghost House on the Sega Master System on their card one, where you play the boy and you was punching Dracula, and his ghost, and what you had to do is you had to uh fight him and try to defeat Dracula so you could get these gems. It was like 50 levels and stuff. So I would pick those three. I think them doing Ghost House in a third person, not third person, in a Diac 3D environment, and making it slick would be a good one. So those would be my three.
Why are you the worst?
What?
I don't know. I'm just messing with you. I'm just kidding. All right. So I have three more here. Platonic. We all know them from our favorite green lizard
Mm-hmm.
and purple bat ukulele. I think, man, dude, Impossible Lair has been $3 on the eShop for like a month.
I think I'm gonna snag it so I could get
Everybody
ready.
needs to everybody needs to buy that game.
Like,
Also, Hellblade is also $3 everywhere. Not that it's the same game, but speaking of $3 games,
cause I think I need to snag that game with my points. Cause I think I got like about $10 in points. So I think I can snag that game. That's the only way not to pay tax on the eShop. Your points.
yeah,
Uh,
man.
okay, so Platonic. I am going to say definitely Bubsy would be one. Uh,
That would be interesting. The first good Bubsy game,
yeah. Uh,
possibly.
Punky Skunk. I know a lot of people do not know about that game at
I've never
all.
even heard of it.
Punky Skunk is a 2D PS1 platformer where you are a skunk and you're swinging your tail and hitting enemies with your scent and tail. Um, it's a bunkers game, but definitely would be a good one. And then Qbert, like I could see Platonic doing Qbert as a game, um, uh, as a 3D puzzle platforming game. Um,
Hmm.
and then like on some levels, like bonus levels, it'll be like music interludes. So you have to hop on, like you have to see the pattern of where the parts are lighting up, so you can play the tune. Like match the tune and stuff. So um, those would be my three: Bubsy, Punky Skunk, and Qbert.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Uh, all right. So two more here. One, pretty a much larger indie studio, I would say. I don't know if most people would call them an indie studio, but Arrowhead, the developers behind the hit game Helldivers 2, and also the original Helldivers.
Huh. Okay.
I have a good one for this actually.
So Akira Warriors would be one. Because I know they are good with their third person combat and it's their wacky worlds and stuff. And I think Akira Warriors would be a good one. Also, POW would be one.
Hmm.
POW would be because that's a 2D one, so they could set that. They could also set that tone. And last but not least, the Goonies.
Hmm.
Like with enough uh with it, like I think they got a good world building and stuff, but I would love to see them to make a game, like a linear game, or even if they want to use the word Metrovania. Even I think they could take that and make that as a adventure game, or even like a Tomb Raider Uncharted style adventure game. I would love to see them tackle those ones. Uh, so yeah, the Goonies, Akira Warriors, and POW. Pal.
Hmm. Okay. All right, Ed. One more. Play Dead. The studio behind Limbo and Inside, and I think they put out another game. Maybe they didn't. Maybe that was Limbo was their last, or Inside was their last game.
Okay, so for them, and I think I will probably go because they're more like atmospheric style games. Uh, I I mean, Flashback has already been done, and stuff, but I think I just feel like there's a Sega CD game they would need to touch.
Sewer Shark.
Ooh, good Google. Well, actually, that's not a bad idea. Um,
It's a terrible idea. Nobody should ever remake Sewer Shark. Nobody should ever touch Sewer Shark ever again.
right. Um, I hmm, I would say Maniac Mansion would be one. Uh, but kind of make it uh a linear game, not so much like a adventure Lucas Art style game. I would love for that to be like just a regular adventure game. Um, another another one. I'm going to break the mold and have them actually make Renegade. That was on NES. I want to see them make a beat 'em up game. Like I really want to test what they could do instead of making these atmospheric games. Can you literally do arena style game. If not Renegade, Combat Rise, I would love to see them kind of do. So I would love them to put some more thought into their games where you have to do a lot of action, um, and everything. Last but not least, from them, I kind of I don't want to make them have them do a sports game or anything. So not like Arch Rivals or NBA Jam, nothing like that. Uh, but I kind of would love to see them do um a, a, a I kind of would love to see them do a game like Kid Nicky, um, where it is a 2D kind of action platformer, um, with that. But I know that's kind of out of their wheelhouse. But if I'm going to give them Renegade, I want to give them Kid Nicky, um, and see what they could do with that. So those would be my three: Maniac Mansion, Renegade, and Kid Nicky.
Okay. Well, Ed, that's all I have. That's all I have. I do want to hear your pitches for WayForward, though.
For WayForward, okay. So, um, definitely, I kind of been thinking about this, and I know they've been doing a lot of Capcom and a lot of Konami. Like they've been working with them and doing their own stuff. But I kind of would love them to go into the Data East and IREM world of games. So definitely with Data East, I kind of would love to see them do Karnov. um, that was a game that it was this big guy with a bald head, and you connected letters to spell his name. Um, but you had like these fire attacks. It was like a 2D, kind of almost like Contra style game. But also, I would love this to do, of course, everybody, Bad Dudes. Uh, that was a 2D beat 'em up game that kind of had this low frame rate in a sense, where you just literally punch and kick, and it was in the style of Ninja Gaiden, but it was you saving the president from this ninja organization, and who the president that you're saving is like a Ronald Reagan kind of type guy.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
so uh, that kind of would be my thing. And then East did do a lot of other games. Uh, I kind of got to look them up because um, they like I don't know if they're still in business or anything, but I think I think believe they have some games on uh the arcade archive on Switch.
Hmm.
Uh, it's updated East games. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, they got a like they did Burger Time, uh, for tag team wrestling, um, Karate Champ. They did. Karate Champ was kind of the first fighting game in a sense. Uh, before Street Fighter came. Um, so and they got a cool logo. If you guys haven't checked it out, do check out their logo uh, for it. Um, Kung Fu Master was another one that was a popular one. They had a lot of. They were more of an arcade company in the '80s and part of the '90s. Um, oh my goodness, Bloody Wolf.
Hmm.
I think Bloody Wolf was Turbo Graphics. Yeah, that was like a 2D army game. With
Hmm. Okay.
yeah, Joe and Mac for everybody. WayForward would do good with Joe and Mac if they had a chance, uh, to do it. Uh, let's see. I kind of would love to do a shoot 'em up. Um, I know everybody. I'm not gonna say Arrow Flash, but I think I will want them to make Zonk. Uh, that was the like shoot 'em up version of Bunk
Hmm.
from Bunk's Adventures on TurboGrafx. I'm going a lot, kind of back
Air
to this
Zonk.
because Arizonk, that's it. Yeah, I would. That's up there. Ooh, WayForward could do a Bunk's Adventure remake.
Yeah, I mean, we've already gotten a bunch of like Alex Kidd type
Yeah.
remakes, I guess. Because that was one of my first thoughts. I was like trying to dig through Sega's catalog, and I'm like, oh well, Alex Kidd would be cool, but we've already gotten a bunch of those. Uh, I mean, I bet they could do something really interesting with Alter Beast or
Hmm.
or Golden Axe or something.
Yeah, but I think .mu has proven that if they take those titles, they're going to give it the love and care. No disrespect to Way For It or anything, but I think Way For It needs to obscure and not popular beat 'em ups for them to become recognizable and successful beat 'em up games. So uh, you know, there's games. Oh goodness. Um, there's oh goodness, what is that beat 'em up game?
Hmm.
Like there's one called the Ninja Kids and stuff. And this was from Title. And it it has some interesting things, I would say, and you fight Satan at the end of the game. I'm going to leave it at that because if you watch a playthrough, you might have your jaw on the floor, and I think Wait for it would give it a little bit more care about it. You would when you see the game in action and you see what it's about, you'll definitely be like, yeah, this is full on Japanese, not to be released in America, but somehow it came over. So I would definitely like them probably the touch on something like that. Um there is Vigilante, another game that I would love them to touch. That was on NEC. That was a 2D beat 'em up game where you had to save your girlfriend named Madonna that takes place in New York. Uh it's 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 a very interesting IRM game and everything. Um Actually, Corey, if you want to go with Sega with wait for it, My Hero, I'm begging for a My Hero comeback. Um, because I need to dropkick champagne bottles and I need them to hit enemies. My Hero makes no sense as a game. And it's one of those where your girlfriend you get punched as the hero and your girlfriend gets kidnapped, and it's you as a boy in this blue suit, pinstripe suit, with some red ruby lips, and you're jump kicking enemies. That's your that all you. I mean, you get I mean, that's your main attack. To get you have to jump kick stuff. So, in order to hit enemies and stuff, you have to jump kick them or jump over them. Like you're fighting dogs, you're fighting punks. You get to a part where it looks like it's a park, but there's fire over places, like fire pits that you had to jump, and it's there's like two sound effects. That's you jumping and um uh you hitting enemies. That's the only sound effects you get, and then it's the music. When you get to the boss who kidnapped your girlfriend, um, the first to 10 hits wins. And so you'll get your girlfriend back, but the main boss gets up, punches you, steals your girlfriend, and goes to the next level. And you have to do that over and over and over again. Um, So that's my hero. But I think with WayForward having River City Girls, I think they literally could take my hero, redo it in this 1950s, 60s settings, and go all out bunkers with it. And make it like kind of make it as a 2D, 3D brawler like River City Girls. And add another player and stuff. Give it that final fight kind of touch to it and stuff, and add weapons because it was an arcade game from Sega, but I played that game on the Sega Master System. Um, so I think that would literally be good. So, um, side tangent. Sorry, everybody. This doesn't have to deal with WayForward, but Zaxxon 3D would be a good PSVR 2 game, I think. Because that was a game that was in 3D. And I think if I don't know who the developer could be, but I'm like, to bring that game back and put it in a 3D space with VR, that would be a good contender for a PSVR 2 game.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network. Okay then. PSVR 2. I've gotten so many PSVR invites from PAX, and I'm like, these are just games that are available everywhere else already. I mean, not to like take anything away from it, but it's still like, I've seen these before. So
What was there was a Wild West game. Was it not Gunsmith? I think it was a Konami game.
are you talking about Gun?
No, that was the open world kind of game. No, this one was on NES, and there was a Sega Master System one with it.
I don't know. You lost me. You lost me, man.
Look, I didn't
I'm
have
shocked
time.
this episode has gone this long.
Didn't have time to prepare, uh, for this. So I had to kind of think about these games, that I that's the Sega card.
Here he goes. He's looking.
Because like the Ninja from Sega Master System would be a good one. Ghouls and Ghosts was on the Sega Master System. The heck? That's a new one.
How about Enduro Racer? Where's that sequel?
Ooh, no.
How about instead of Mario vs Sonic, we get Excite Bike versus Enduro Racer?
That would be interesting.
Except it's not a racing game. It's a combat. It's a car combat game, like Twisted Metal or Vigilante 8.
Oh my goodness, Vigilante 8.
Or for you modern kids, the Destruction All Stars. PlayStation. Man, that was a. Oh, anyways.
Kung Fu Kid. Was that the
Kung Fu Kid?
Because I keep I've been thinking about this game called Kung Fu. Is it? I wonder if that's gonna be it, Kung Fu Kid.
I don't know.
It.
You lost me. I don't know, man.
And
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yes, Kung Fu Kid. It was a game on the Sega Master System. It was a beat 'em up where you're fighting zombies. For it. And like at the end of it, because it had horizontal and vertical levels, and you would jump up. You kick and jump, kick and punch and stuff. Um, and then you'll fight different enemies, boss enemies at the end of the levels and stuff. They only did one game for it. It's different than Black Belt, everybody. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I think that would be a good one for WayForward's Kung Fu Kid and stuff. Um, man, like, there's so many old games that they could do and touch. Um, the question is, will a lot of gamers remember them? Because we're in a age where I feel like there's and a lot of new gamers and a lot of, I would say, kind of not professional but well seasoned gamers. Like me and you, we're well seasoned because we grew up with games, and so we understand the concepts and the themes and stories and gameplay stuff like there. Where I think some of the new gamers are not familiar with some of the history, or they're more to Minecraft or Fortnite and games like that. A lot of
Yeah.
the
Well,
free
I
to
mean,
play
it's
stuff.
it's it's the it's the conversation we had a couple weeks ago. At this point, um, about when we were talking about violence in video games and how and how kids are kind of drawn to Fortnite and uh and then Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff, and how uh I think at that age, right, like a lot of games are probably starting, you could say, with the N64, but I would say probably more the Xbox, PS2, GameCube era to
Mm-hmm.
an extent, because all the consoles were four player and had multiplayer games and online was being introduced. Like, it became a social thing, especially like playing Halo or Call of Duty, or SOCOM was huge, right? And so I think maybe beginning with that era, and then we still had couch co-op games like Mario Kart and Smash and Fusion Frenzy. You can't forget that Xbox classic.
Right.
But we had that. I think we didn't, at least me personally, like and sports games were huge. If you were, Madden was huge in my life for so long, and I don't know. I think you kind of change course in a way throughout your life, and your tastes change, and uh, you start to, as you get older, you start to understand. Well, hopefully, you start to understand different uh, aspects of games, and uh, you're playing games for more than just the social interaction or just to blow off some steam. And granted, you still need those games too, but I think you know with age comes a little bit of uh, you're paying attention more, and you respect the craft more, and uh, there are even games that you push through because of the story and not necessarily how fun it is. So um, yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of harkens back to that conversation a little bit.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
distracted.
it's just interesting to see, you know, kids in games today, because you like, even with Roblox being a big thing with a lot of kids, it's kind of hard to enter their world of how they view video games and stuff. And will there come be a point in time where they do break out and become seasoned gamers at like us, because they tried different things, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know, man. I think there are certain games that kind of pull people away from certain experiences. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm trying to see how my kids are going to start looking at video games, and um, it was funny this past weekend. I sat down with my kids and we all played Mario Kart together, and
mhm,
I had to turn on the kid stuff for them and that kind of stuff. But my kids are obsessed with the Mario characters, like just all of them. Like my daughter loves Peach and Rosalina, and my son loves Bowser. Like loves Bowser. He's like every time he sees Bowser, he's like Bowser, rah! And it's so funny. It's really funny, and they like really like the Mario movie. Um, and I'm just trying to see how they are experiencing video games for this generation, because it's so different from when you and I, I mean, even our experiences being, our age gap is, you know relevant to gaming generations, right? Like,
mhm,
you know there's a lot of time that I don't remember. I mean, my first video games were on the Atari 2600, but like I was 3 and 4, and like I remember bits and pieces of it, but like I really started remembering games when like I remember when I got my Game Boy and stuff like that, but like I really started remembering and really loving games when I got my NES, and then my cousin gave me his Genesis, and I had Ninja Turtles and Mario and Rocket Knight Adventures and stuff like that, and then the big turning point for me, at least, was the N64 was a huge, you know, I liked video games before, right? I would
yeah,
say, but N64 was the console that got me to love video games. And even though like I kind of look back and I realize, well, Nintendo 64, it's a great console. I love the console, but it's not like the greatest in terms of the library, right? I mean, there's definitely classics on there for sure, right? Zelda and Mario and Diddy Kong Racing and Banjo, right? That has an awesome library, but you could probably play everything you need to play on the N64 with maybe 15 carts, right? 15
yeah,
cartridges. Uh, but then you look at the generation after on GameCube, and there's like hit after hit after hit after hit after hit, and Nintendo's handheld offerings have always been there too, right? And um, going and seeing my kids never experiencing the 8-bit generation, and then growing into the 16-bit generation, and then growing into the 32 and 64-bit generation, and then uh, you know growing up with games, like we are the only generation that's going to experience that. and
yeah,
it's and it's I mean, this would be a fascinating expansion pass on its own, right? Maybe we can do that for like the 100th episode of expansion pass, like growing up with video games and talking about how kids are growing up now. But
yeah,
I really think it's fascinating how my kids are growing up seeing video games, and how Sonic isn't a video game character. He's just a character that exists on screen, or with or without a controller, or Pokemon is a TV show to them and there just happens to be games, right? Or
mhm,
I mean, and then I was in Ninja Turtles, and like I never really, I mean, I thought about it, but I never really like thought about it until my kids and I played through the Bluey video game. They love Bluey, and that got them to want to play video games. Was there was a Bluey video game and they wanted to play video games, and it's like, oh yeah, duh, that's a real basic part of video games that I think we forget, because licensed games are so hit or miss. But when you're young, you don't know that. You just want to play because your favorite character is in there. And so, yeah, it's really fascinating to watch them. see this. And then, uh, yeah, my son loves Mario and Bowser, and uh, so I'm gonna. I think my son more than my daughter is gonna be the gamer. Because my daughter will play and then she'll like get up and do something else, and then she'll come back and be like, "Oh yeah, I was playing this game," and then she'll get up and go do something else. Where my son was just like, he'll sit there with a controller in his hand and just stare, right? Like
Mm.
you know, most people do. So I think my son is definitely going to be the gamer, but my daughter she's really interested in the Princess Peach game. Although I think she thinks it's a dress up game because I showed her all the costumes and not like a video game. So we'll figure that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But
There is a fashion game on Switch.
I know
Um,
there's a lot of them. There's probably 20 of them.
that would kind of be interesting to see, like if you got it for her, like how she would react to dressing up or her having a chance to create clothes and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
just to see how that is, because I think with kids they like creating stuff. They're in the age of creating.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes there are games that do that. Like for me, Mario Paint was a big one. Now I'm not the best artist, I can admit that, but I love drawing. But they had the music section where you could put different sound effects to make songs, and some people have taken that, emulated on PC in a certain way, and kind of made like pop hits and stuff or covers and everything. And I was always into just making songs and things like that. And when there was like games where I could create stuff, definitely if it was a music game and I could create stuff, definitely the PS2 era. Uh, I I would go in and try to make music and everything.
Hmm.
I can say and everything. I would try to make music because that's what I love to do. And this kind of jumps back into our first conversation about Roller Coaster Tycoon, that when 3 came out and I was able to make my roller coasters, my childhood dream came true because I just drew roller coasters. Like I could I there was a time that um even though it was like simple lines and everything, I used to draw the Six Flags map or roller coasters by heart because I knew how all of them went. Like my body recognized how those rides went and stuff, and I would just draw them like just simple rides and everything. Um, but as a kid, or I would say definitely when I got older and Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 came out, I was like probably in my 20s. Um, that feeling of making a roller coaster was a big thing to me. Now, I didn't know behind the scenes that it takes a lot of work to make a roller coaster. Um, and everything. It's like it's just not a click, 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 put this here and stuff. Um, you had to learn, it was definitely a lot of math and science with that because it really was gravity. Like after you left the hill, the steep hill or whatever off that chain, everything is straight gravity. The only thing that's kind of electronic is the brakes if something happens, and anything other than that, it was all gravity.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
well, yeah, I think that would be a good conversation. I would love to have
Yeah.
that conversation
Yeah. Maybe
and
we'll
stuff.
do that. Maybe we'll do that. Man,
Man,
we have a.
my childhood gaming is a whirlwind.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's all the systems I played and all the arcade games, um, that I endured and stuff,
Yeah.
and of course EGM and Game Pro.
Yeah.
So, well,
Well,
everybody. Well, Corey, I think that's going to be it for this episode. We are at the time of this recording for about 5 days out before PAX East. Um, we're going to be meeting up with other Boss Rush member teammates, and we're going to be experiencing PAX. Me and Corey are going to be experiencing PAX for the first time. Well, my first time. I think your second time, Corey. Correct?
This is my third time.
Oh, third time. Okay, your third time.
First time as like real media though.
Yeah, first time as real media. We're meeting. Corey's meeting the team. I met Stephanie, and I met Pat. Everybody else is going to be new. So I'm definitely excited about this meetup slash media and interviewing and playing games. I'm super excited for it. But with that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. And Corey, I think I like this one too. You bringing other developers and seeing what games that possibly they can make. I like that. Because it racks my brain, but I kind of had to dig deep into my memory of like what would be a game that would be kind of cool from it. I like that. We should do more for this. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Expression Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Pixies!
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.